All right, good morning. Thank you for coming to the Railyard Redevelopment press conference. Removing the Railyard from downtown Sioux Falls has been a long-term goal for the city. This is not a small task. This Railyard has served this city very well for over 120 years. And we knew if we were going to do it, we were going to have a very well thought out plan and a commitment to get it done. In the early 2000s, those conceptual studies and cost estimates were developed to just put a perspective on to see if this could actually be accomplished. In 2005, those studies and cost estimates were taken forward to the Congress to ask for federal dollars to help us actually make this project a reality. In 2005, Congress did give us $40 million to carry out redeveloping the downtown Railyard. That's really when the due diligence began. So between 2005 and 2015 is when an exhaustive environmental assessment was done to analyze a number of different alternatives to ultimately select the lowest cost, lowest environmentally impacted alternative. Then very technical and very complex appraisals were carried out by very specialty companies to ultimately allow us to start to work hand in hand and negotiate with Burlington Northern on a purchase price for the downtown Railyard. We took that purchase agreement and closed on the land on November of 2015. And so as of November of 2015, the City of Sioux Falls owns the downtown Railyard. As a part of the purchase agreement, one of the things that a Railyard just can't immediately vacate their yard. This is, as you see it today, there's cars in it. It still is a highly functioning Railyard. And so part of the purchase agreement was to provide Burlington Northern 2 years' time to actually construct their new assets and their new switch to ultimately change their operations so they can continue to serve the City of Sioux Falls and the region with all the industrial activity that we have here. We've now finally moved on from a lot of the study phase into physical work. Josh Peterson, you guys know him well. He's our project manager through the environmental assessment. And he'll tell you today what physical work is finally underway by Burlington Northern and the City of Sioux Falls to begin to make this project a reality. Please help me welcome Josh Peterson.
Thanks, Mark. Well, it's great to be here today to actually talk about some actual tangible physical improvements that are actually being constructed now as part of the Railyard redevelopment project. Today I'll go into a little bit of a highlight of what BNSF has started construction on and what their plans are, and then I'll go a little bit into what the city has planned upcoming to get ready for the redevelopment of the property. BNSF, if you drive along Rice Street there in the northeast corner of town, just west of Timberline Avenue, you'll see that there's a large grading project going on out there next to the BNSF main line. That's actually BNSF's construction project. They're starting work on 2 siding tracks along their main line out there. And first thing, just want to clear up some misinformation some people have out there. These are 2 siding tracks. It's not a full Railyard. Some people get that confused. Think about some of the previous alternatives we were evaluating. This is not a full Railyard. It's just 2 siding tracks. They'll be 3,400 feet long, and there'll be 2 of them between the main line and Rice Street. These tracks will be used for storage of rail cars and for the interchange of those rail cars between BNSF and Ellison Eastern Railroad. So excited to see that started. And that project is expected to be wrapped up yet this summer, this fall. The next phase of BNSF's construction will be next year, and what they need to do to fully get out of the Railyard is they need to construct a new connecting track in the downtown yard here. Ellis and Eastern's rail line that serves western Sioux Falls now connects right into the tracks that we are going to be removing as part of the redevelopment. So to make sure that we can serve western Sioux Falls with rail access, we need to move that connection from the tracks that will be removed to the tracks that are going to be remaining. So BNSF will be constructing that next year, and once that is completed, then they'll be able to change their operations and move fully out of the rail yard. That kind of summarizes what BNSF has. By the time they get that construction completed, they'll be able to vacate the yard, and we expect that to happen by November of next year. That'll be the end of the 2-year phase of transition that Mark was talking about. Once that has happened, then the city will start our construction project to prepare the yard for redevelopment. And that project has a number of things we want to accomplish in it. First thing, we'll be the ones removing the existing tracks that are there. BNSF is selling us the yard as is, so we'll be removing those tracks. We'll also be removing the crossings in 6th and 8th Street that are there and replacing that with new pavement, new sidewalk to maintain the roadway. We'll be removing any other rail facilities that are in the property that we purchased to get it out of the way for redevelopment. We also will be demolishing the warehouse building that's behind me here between 6th and 8th Street to get that out of the way. We'll be constructing a fence along the east side of the redevelopment property to delineate between the active rail site that's going to remain and what the new redevelopment's going to be. We'll be mitigating some 6 inches of soil out of the yard and getting that hauled away and put some new topsoil in so that the yard is ready for redevelopment. And then finally, while it's a small part of the project, it is kind of one I'm a little bit excited to see happen. We will be constructing an interpretive kiosk next to the redevelopment property that will display some of the historic information about the rail yard that's been here for 125 years. I've been working on this project for a number of years. I've got to learn a lot of the history of the rail yard, and it is pretty fascinating, and I'm excited to be able to share that with visitors to downtown. So I think that'll be a nice improvement for us. With that kind of summarizes the current construction and upcoming construction. We have all this information I've talked about is available on our website. It was discussed in the environmental assessment and our finding of no significant impact. So that's available on our website at siouxfalls.org/railroad for anybody who wants to look at that or any other updates on the project that we'll be posting as we make more progress on the project. So with that, I'll turn it back to Mark.
All right. Thank you, Josh. It's always about the details when Josh speaks. It's been said that since we closed on the 10 acres of land in downtown Sioux Falls, that this is the largest opportunity that the City of Sioux Falls has undertaken, and especially for downtown. How we'll transition that large opportunity into reality will be shared with you this morning by Mike Cooper. He's the Director of Planning and Building Service. Please help me welcome Mike Cooper.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Another exciting step in this long journey of looking at how to redevelop this downtown rail yard site. As Josh talked to you about some of the steps that are going to be happening over the next few months in terms of the rail yard and removing the track and getting it redeveloped, ready for redevelopment, probably the question that we're getting asked the most is, okay, now once the tracks are taken out and all the city work is getting done, what will this eventually look like? And so the real answer is we're still working on what that vision will be. We have had some ideas as we've gone through the environmental assessment process in using the federal funds. We've looked at some concepts. We've talked to local people about what potential ideas they might have. We recently updated our downtown development plan, and we talked about what potential activities would be of the highest interest in the rail yard site. but we want to go forward with a better vision, maybe a stronger vision of what really would make Sioux Falls stand out anywhere else in the country, of having this 9.5 acres in the heart of our downtown. We have a chance to do it one time right, as the mayor would say. So, during the time that we're going to be transitioning from the Railyard to the city use, we're starting the process right now of bringing in an outside consulting firm that will have some expertise in not only working with redevelopment projects like the Railyard, but also having a better understanding of local, regional, even national market trends that can help us establish a strong vision of what this Railyard property could become in the future. And as part of that vision, it's going to be developing some concepts of visually what the project could look like, some design guidelines, but also really helping us with a visual marketing tool that we can use to begin soliciting private proposals for development. So this summer you'll hear more information about that public input process that we'll be going through during the months of probably July, August into September. And then once we've created that vision by talking to local and even national people, then we would hope to work on the next step, which would be taking proposals out for private development projects. We expect that probably the 9.5 to 10 acres is going to be developed in multiple phases. We expect that there could be some city as well as private participation. All that is yet to be determined, but it's going to be really, really exciting to work on the next stage of, again, creating what this vision for the Railyard will be. And if we can get a development proposal, or more than one, potentially worked on and approved, so that by the time that 2-year timeline is up, the site is ready, then we're going to turn it over to the mayor for that initial groundbreaking. So that's going to be extremely exciting, and really looking forward to the next stages in that process. So more great news to come, more opportunity for public involvement. And I think when people see what that ultimate vision could look like, it's just going to create even more and more interest in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Thank you.
Michael. Well, big projects take strong leadership. Mayor Mike Huther has pushed for this project to become a reality since the very beginning. And here to speak to you today is Mayor Mike Huther. Help me welcome him.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, all right, Sioux Falls, I know you're chomping at the bit to get this land redeveloped, and no one's hungrier to do that than this mayor. I really am. I'm just pumped about it. I'm thrilled about it, and I really want it to happen. However, let's just give a little perspective here. It took us 10 years to finally ink this deal with Burlington Northern. It did. And it was well worth the effort, thanks to the hard work of a bunch of good folks. And as Josh and Mike laid out, it's going to be about another 2 years or so, where we're going to take these 10 acres of land and we're going to get it ready for redevelopment. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, then the mayor wants to get this 10 acres of land redeveloped before he's done being the mayor. And the answer is no. Really, probably for the first time since I've served you as your mayor, I think that we should take a different approach. I really do believe that we should do it right the first time. Rather than doing it fast, let's do it correctly. Let's dream bigger. Let's even have a grander vision. And truly, let's do something with this $35 million investment that will make all of the United States taxpayers proud. And we can do that. But to do that, we do need to plan it accordingly. We need to, really challenge the way that we do things here in Sioux Falls. As well as we have to take these local dreamers, these local developers, these local investors, and we got to make them just as hungry as they've always been, And guess what? We'll probably throw in some outside competition as well. Because there are folks from Minneapolis, from Des Moines, from all across the United States that are really looking at Sioux Falls right now as the place not only to be, but the place to invest and really help us dream big. And so we're going to do that. I think we laid out that plan a little bit today. I'm really enthused about Burlington Northern. They are, I'll give them a little kudos again. They're busting their tails right now to get those siding tracks done. It's kind of fun. You know, I'm glad they want out of here, Mark, because I want them out of here too. But at the same time, we just want to rip these old tracks out, and we really want to, you know, make this just an incredible opportunity for folks. It is no secret too. I know we've got the chamber community here. We've got the downtown Sioux Falls community here. We've got other, you know, community leaders that are here with us today. I mean, you go to any coffee group in town, you talk about this after a Sunday service. You talk about this just as people are having a beer in downtown. People are already dreaming big. They want to get their chomps on this land. They want to start to build as fast as they can, and they're calling Mayor Mike. They're calling Mike Cooper. They're calling others and saying, okay, we're ready to go, Mayor. Now, when are you going to give the go-ahead? And again, I'm just going to encourage some patience because, again, we want to do this right. So with that in mind, Sioux Falls, I want you thrilled. I want you pumped. But I'm going to just encourage you to be a bit more patient. We've come so dang far in 10 years, and now just give us a couple more. Just a couple more. And you'll see some shovels in the ground.